What's up guys, it's your girl Cat Theo coming back with another video. And this month I did a month challenge because there was a video, this video right here, where I talked about if I ever went back to the US, I would turn my car into a money-making asset. And I recommended a company called Turo in that video. So I was like, what better way to give advice than actually try it out myself? So I tried out Turo for 1 month. I rented it out on Turo, and this is how much I made on it. So if you don't know what Turo is already, it's a car rental service. It's kind of like Airbnb, but for car rentals. So instead of renting out a car from a company, you're gonna rent it out from individuals themselves, like myself and like yourself. So it's a really easy way to make some side income if you have an extra car that you're not using and you just wanna make some extra cash. So I was able to rent out my car. I only have one car because I work from home a lot of the days, and my friend was using his other car, so he just let me use his car. So it just worked out really well. But I only did it for 1 month to see how much I would make to make this video. So my experience with Turo overall was really good. Essentially, you set when you can rent your car out. So if you only want to do it on the weekends because you need your car during the week, you can set that. If you only want to rent it out a couple times a month, you can also set that up through the app. So it's 100% flexibility for your own schedule, and you can also cancel when you want. There are some fees if you do need to cancel last minute once the reservation's already been made. But let's say you have it on the weekends, but then you decide to take a vacation and no one has rented the car, you can just take it off with no fees to you. So it works out really well. My experience with Turo was I set up the check-in before I had to go to work in the morning, and then I set the checkout when I come back from work. So I would meet up with the guest before I go to work. We take the pictures, check their ID, blah, and then they return the car after I get back from work, when I can check the car out, take some more pictures, and make sure everything is in good standing. So now I'm gonna go into how much I actually made over the month with Turo, renting out my car part-time. But I do wanna say that every city is gonna be different, and I did opt in to the premium insurance, which takes out 45% of your earnings. So if you have your own insurance, that's really good. You don't have to do that, and you can make even more money. I have mentioned in other videos how your car is a depreciating asset. I don't consider anything that you're not making money on as an asset. So a house and a car that you live in or you're using every day, you're not making money off, I don't consider that really an asset. So turning your car into a money-making machine is now changing it into a depreciating asset, into an appreciating asset. So if you want to turn your car into an asset, an actual money-making asset, then stay tuned. Now I'm going to go into how much I made for the week. Okay, this is my Turo account. I did this challenge for 30 days to see how much I can make on Turo. It was an app website that I did recommend in another video, but since I've never used it, I wanted to give it a try. So I did start on July 7th and I ended August 4th to give it a full month. So my first trip was with Juan, and him and his wife came to my city, and they were a lovely couple, perfect guests. They bring back the car perfectly, and I made it $27.97. That was the first trip. After that, I had a trip with Giovanna. She was from Europe. She was coming to my city to do some traveling. I don't know why, but she actually canceled the trip a little bit before 24 hours. So it was like the day before she canceled. So I made nothing on this trip, which was disappointing because, as you can see, this would have been a pretty decent trip. Unfortunately, unlike Airbnb, when someone cancels so close to the reservation, you get some money, but with Turo, they have a 24-hour cancellation policy, so they don't give you anything if someone cancels the day before. So that really sucked because I didn't think I was gonna get any more people, but I actually did. I got Sheeta on the 10th. She had my car for 6 days. She was from my city and her transmission went out on her car, so she just needed something to get her to work back and forth. So I will mention here that she went over 42 miles. On my account, I charged 45 cents additional mileage that goes over the 600 miles. that are included with her reservation. I have seen other people charge up to $1.50 a mile, but I think that's just ripping people off. So I felt like 45 cents was fair for me and fair for the driver as well. So with this trip, I made $168 and 35 cents. And this trip, actually, in addition to charging her extra for the miles, I also charged her $10 extra for the gas because she did not fill it up all the way. And that also was not a problem for her. So if that's something you're thinking about, if somebody doesn't fill up the gas tank or has any damage to your car or goes over the mileage, they're going to pay for that. So my next trip was with Bob. He was a single guy in my city. He didn't have his car for a couple days, so he rented my car for just a few days. This was a perfect transaction, super, super easy, and he paid $83. Well, I got $83.85 for that trip. And I will say that Bob actually educated me a lot on my car. I never knew what dry rot was before, and he showed me, this is dry rot in your car. So he was informing me about what this means and how I can take care of that. So that was really good. And I still charged him. So win-win for both of us. Okay, so my next trip was actually with another Bob. This was a family. This was my last trip. This was a family, and they had my car for 2 weeks. So that was awesome because I didn't have to keep washing the car and things like that. This reservation, not gonna lie, was a little bit of a nightmare. They went over 71 miles. So I charged them about $32 for that. And then in addition to that, they gave me the car back full of butterflies that were just stuck in the front of the car. It was disgusting. Like just dead butterflies everywhere. It was really awful. And then on top of that, the tire was punctured, which they did inform me of, that they had to fill up, but they didn't say it was punctured. They just said they had to fill up the tire. So I had charged them $140 on top of that because I had to buy a tire that was $140. So I got $407.16, leaving me with $687.33 for the month. However, I charged them $32 for the overage of 71 miles, and then I charged them $140 for the tire. Bob complained to Turo, and Turo came back to me. I'm going to pull up my email. Hopefully there's nothing going to pop up here. But Turo came back to me. I got a response from Ernesto from Turo support that said, in investigating the issue, we determined that the request was not valid and was in violation of our reimbursement tool policy. As a result, we have resolved in favor of the guest and deducted $50 from your host earnings for this violation. So I'm going to subtract $50, leaving me with $637.33 for the month. So I was obviously upset, and I responded to Ernesto from Turo support and said, please give me a call. I have not been in violation of anything. He went over 71 miles and he was charged. The tire was punctured on their trip and he was charged, which I have photos of, which is true. I took photos. There was a nail in the tire. Like, it was very obvious. Where is the violation? Please call me. Okay, please don't call me. Blur that out. So after talking with Turo support, I found out that the only time you can use the reimbursement tool on Turo is if there is gas mileage that they didn't pay for, a ticket that they didn't pay for, a toll of some kind, smoking damage. Also, if there was some kind of mileage overage, if it costs over $50, you have to contact their dispute entity of this company and do it that way. However, being this was my first time on Turo, I wish they would have just given me a warning and said, this is how you do it, instead of charging me $50, because they don't have a business without drivers. They don't have a business without customers, happy clients. So I would have also refunded them as well, the overage or whatever. But if you punctured a tire, you have to pay for that, and you don't have a business without drivers. So I just was a little upset about that. But overall, I made $637.33. I think that's a really good side hustle for a car that I wasn't using for this month. And if you have 2 cars in your house, you're not using it, why not make some extra money on it and turn it into an asset. I do want to mention very quickly about the insurance that I pay for. I did get the higher insurance, the premium insurance with Turo, which they take 45% of your earnings with that. So if you have your own renter's insurance or some other insurance that's pretty good, then you don't have to give them 45%. So your earnings would actually be 45% more than this. So let's see how much that would cost. So you probably would have made closer to $900 if you had your own insurance that you paid for through your own company. But since I just didn't want to deal with anything, if anything happens with the car, I don't want to have to pay for anything. I don't want to have to deal with it. Then I paid for the higher insurance, which they just take it out of your earnings. So for me, it's perfect. So there you go. That's how much I earned, and I encourage you to try it as well. All right, so that's how much I made in a month with Turo. I made over $600. I think that's pretty freaking awesome for a side hustle that I didn't really have to do anything. Like I said, the last reservation, they were with me for 2 weeks, so I didn't have to do anything for 2 entire weeks. And then the other people was kind of off and on. But you can also set in the app a minimum rental time. The minimum amount isn't gonna be less than 2 days or 3 days or 4 days. You can do that. So if you only wanna do long trips, then you can set that in the app so you don't have to be constantly going back and forth. So let's talk about some of the expenses that I did incur with Turo. So obviously, like I said, the 45% that I paid from every reservation was 45%. On top of that, I washed the car and I vacuumed out the car. There was some times where I just washed it at my house and it took me about an hour, but honestly, I'd rather just pay the $4 and go somewhere and get it done, and it gets done in like 10 minutes. Also, vacuum out your car. That's just something I did myself. If you don't have a vacuum or you don't want to, that's something else you're gonna have to do to keep the car clean and looking nice. A lot of people put bottles of water and mints and stuff in the car. I didn't do that just because that's just like, if I had a Tesla, I would do that. Just for a Kia Ultima, not gonna do that. But you can do that if you want. So honestly, good experience. I'll probably rent it out with them again if I have an opportunity. I feel like it was pretty easy money, and let me know your experience below. And if there's any other car rental companies you recommend, we are looking forward to it. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Getting rough, my mind just sounds like Shia LaBeouf. It says no, 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 no. Just no.